2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, basketball fans. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to 2K Sports. I'm here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, we'll see the Los Angeles Lakers as they play against the San Antonio Spurs. Checking out the Spurs, at fourth place in the Western Conference, they haven't been an easy opponent for anyone to deal with this season. And here we are late in the season. Shaq, for the teams at the very bottom of the standings, there can be a tendency to give up on yourself and a desire to dial things back, I guess. Pack it in. It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it happens, but no great coach would stand for that. No, we're great players. You just gotta, dig yourself out the hole, Ernie. You gotta keep fighting. You know what they should do?
What's that?
Go watch Hoosiers. The Gene Hackman speech should get them going.
Okay, you think that would work on an NBA player?
I think it would. Picket fence, baby. Picket fence.
Sometimes you just can't give that all-out intensity because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can only see the light right in front of your face. And, you got to give those bench guys some more minutes at this time.
Let's send it down to Kevin Harlan.
Welcome, sports fans. Thanks for joining us. And it's time for NBA basketball on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, our Hall of Fame sideline reporter David Aldridge. And folks, do we have a treat for our broadcast for you tonight. The legendary Kobe Bryant will be stepping in to help call the game. Kobe, thanks so much for coming by.
No, nice to see everyone. Thanks for having me.
Western Conference battles always fun. This time it's the Los Angeles Lakers intent on protecting home court. They beat the Spurs during their last encounter in San Antonio. They come into this one feeling good about the matchup. They've taken both games so far this season.
And they really squeaked out a close one in that last matchup. Came down to just a few turnovers that gave them the margin of victory.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. On the court for San Antonio, Murray out there with Mills. Then it's Green. Then there's LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Anderson in a power forward position. The San Antonio Spurs able to put the first points up on the board. Caldwell Pope with a wide open look. There's three-pointers off the mark. Shots good by Mills. Mills has got his second bucket of the game to go. And in the history of the NBA, only a handful of players have lasted 20 seasons. Kobe, you played all 20 with the Los Angeles Lakers, an NBA record for seasons with one team. What does it mean to just having worn that Laker jersey your entire career?
Well, I mean, it's a huge honor. I've always been a massive Laker fan, even when I was a kid. And so I never dreamed that I'd actually be wearing the golden armor for my NBA career. So to be sitting here right now, having played 20 years, is literally the coolest dream that could have ever happened to any kid. Happened to me.
And I don't know that it'll happen again. The way the league is structured now, the money, the free agency, even though you had a chance to leave a couple times, you always chose to stay.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's loyalty is a word that you hear thrown around often. But in this day and age, it's very tough to see in sports because of the cap, because of the free agency market and so forth and so on. So I've been very, very fortunate to have a great organization and to be able to have played 20 years of my career.
Here's Caldwell Pope following the basket by Julius Randle. Poked away and stolen by Murray. Finished off the break.
How about 3 or 4 from the floor to start? That's always a good sign.
Well, Kobe, you look at all the former Defensive Player of the Year, and they're almost always big men. You were a 9-time first-team all-defensive selection in the NBA. Do you think guards sometimes get overlooked at the impact they have in a game and a play?
Yeah, they definitely do.
All the time, huh?
I think the bigs have a huge responsibility in protecting the rim, and those things are very easy to measure.
Right, block shots,
blocks,
and exactly,
rebounding,
altering,
altering shots or defensive rebounds. For guards, it's tougher. But still in all, there's some guards out there who have done it. Michael and Gary Payton and Kawhi Leonard, I count him as a guard. They're just phenomenal defensive players.
Where does that mindset come from? That defensive mindset when you're an offensive gifted player like yourself?
Well, I think that's a truly competitive person. Some players will call themselves competitive, but you're not truly competitive if you only compete at one end of the floor. That's not what true competitive people do.
If you're just tuning in, we've played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. Kobe, you're a father. You've enjoyed that process, but basketball got in the way a lot of it. How do you balance fatherhood and playing at the level you played at?
Yeah, when I was winning championships there, our kids were still relatively young, or I should say babies. In my last few years, they were older and knew they could really feel my absence. And so what I try to do is try to bring them along for the process. So there were mornings I would wake them up and say, let's go. So we're going. Well, Daddy's going to go train, so let's go.
No kidding.
And I bring them with me. And they'd be in the gym shooting around or kicking a soccer ball around or hitting the volleyball around. But I felt like it was important as a father to not just tell them about hard work, but they need to see what I'm doing. When you're sleeping, this is what I'm doing here for 3 hours. And so they're a part of the process and feel connected to the process. But traveling and things of that nature is very, very hard because there's been plenty of birthdays that I've missed and school plays that I've missed.
And after 20 years in the NBA, Kobe, you were able to play with so many teammates. Can you make a short list of some of your favorites over the years?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Pau Gasol for me. Derek Fisher.
And a quality person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, right.
And Derek Fisher, Ronny Turiaf is one of my all-time favorites. Lamar Odom, Shaq, obviously, Robert Horry, Rick Fox. I mean, I've been very fortunate to play with some great teams. Horace Grant, AC Green. I mean, let's go. Ron Harper. I mean, I can go on and on all day long. Brian Shaw. I mean, I was very fortunate to have some really good teammates.
And Kobe, something that has changed in the NBA over the course of your career is the role of the power forward, the 4. More and more, you need to be able to stretch the floor, take your guy outside, shoot the 3. Do you feel that that's a trend, or is that something you think that is here to stay in the NBA?
Well, I think things will evolve and things will change. I mean, you start getting, power forwards like Tim Duncan and Garnett back in the league, Dirk. All of a sudden, it becomes less and less of a commodity to have smaller fours.
Right.
Because you're going to need to deal with the Tim Duncans and the Garnetts of the world. So I think it's just a natural evolution thing.
Did you, when you had to guard a big like that, ever fear going out and trying to get him on the side or even working him inside the lane where he would have more power, more advantage?
No, I never worried about it too much. What I try to do is I always try to study the film and figure out what their tendencies are, what their sweet spots are, and you just try to get them off of that. It's not necessarily about the size of them, but how do you get yourself in position when you can knock them off balance a little bit and use the lack of size that you have to disorient them.
Here's ball after the basket by San Antonio, and DeJounte Murray gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul. And here in the first quarter, with a little over 3.5 minutes played. And stolen by Murray. Kobe, you were a player who lived in the gym. What motivated you as you go back and look at all those hours you spent in the gym to do that, to follow that path?
I loved it. I loved the game. It wasn't a matter of working hard. I didn't realize I was working hard until like my second or third year in the league, when I realized here in the NBA, a lot of players don't do that.
Right.
It was kind of a big shock to me. Like, I assumed everybody in the NBA
just worked hard.
Yeah, but to me, it wasn't hard work. It was like, I love doing this. Like, there's no place on earth I'd rather be than be here in this gym with a basketball in the hoop.
But the greats are always the hardest workers out there. I mean, right, have you ever seen a great player who is not the hardest worker on their team?
No, I've seen players have great seasons, and, you know, and then the next season, it's
they
not
fall.
so much,
right.
And then they have another great one, and the consistency isn't there. The truly great players love what they do, and that looks like hard work to the outside world.
Did you enjoy playing the game? There was so much you put into the game, but did you enjoy the game?
I did. I enjoyed the game. I loved playing, you know, the competition and all that, the getting ready and all that. But I enjoyed practice more.
Did you?
I did. I enjoyed training and practice more than I did the games.
Wow. Free throw good. Mills. Hey, Kobe, I read that Coach Greg Popovich of the San Antonio Spurs wants his star, Kawhi Leonard, to train with you during the offseason when there's time. He's a Los Angeles area kid. What do you think you can give a guy like Kawhi that maybe he already hasn't gotten from watching tapes extensively of your play?
Well, more so of why certain moves are better used at certain times and against what defense, right? And kind of anticipating, okay, if I do this, then the defense is going to shift here, which then that gives me this, but then the weak side help us shift there, which then gives me that, right? So it's looking at the game in levels, and so you're always 1, 2, 3, 4 moves ahead, right? That's the next level.
And that one's good. Green.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
They've been looking out of sync offensively.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
They get it again. Lopez trying to get back on track. Ball no good. Looking at the last game for the Lakers, it was a loss to the Jazz in Utah.
You know, they're the visiting team. It's a loud arena, very distracting at times, but simply no excuse for missing a ton of free throws.
You know what? The issue that night, the misses became contagious, and the guys lost more and more confidence as it went along.
Los Angeles calls timeout.
And look, you never want to see a team gut you this way. Really a good timeout.
Some of this is just a matter of toughness, a willingness to play physical inside, something we're not seeing.
And taking a broader look here at the year-over-year scoring trend for Gasol.
And looking at his offensive numbers from the past few years, it seems like teams around the league have kind of figured him out. He's having to work a lot harder for his points, and they haven't been coming nearly as easily as they used to.
They double him with Green. Here's Lopez from 13 feet. It goes down. Lopez has got his second bucket of the night.
Working over that in-between area. Defenses now have a hard time shutting that down.
And with all the different technological advances in the league, you see a lot of player and coaches now reviewing clips and tablets and a lot of film sessions. I know you used to study a lot of the league's videotapes. How much easier is film study now, say, from the time in the late 90s when you got in the NBA?
It's so much easier.
Really?
Oh, my God. When I used to get in the hotel rooms, you used to have to call the front desk. They used to roll up the TV on the wheels.
With the VCR machine.
With the VCR connected
to
it, right? And I have to have all of these tapes, and you got to put the tape in, and you got to rewind it, and you got to fast forward it, and you got to rewind it.
Yeah.
Now it's just everything's right there in front of you, right? And it's very easy to skip and go to the next game, and then jump back to the game before, or fast forward to the fourth quarter. I mean, it's so easy now.
In competition, once again, Kobe, the thing that drives you so much, even on the practice floor, you and Jordan were so much alike in that regard. Is it important to go with your teammates and challenge them in those practices that you recall?
You have to challenge them, because if you don't, then they become conditioned to not have those challenges every day, right? So if you come off of a night where you have a back-to-back, for example, and you have a practice the next morning, it's our responsibility to step into that practice and challenge them as if it was the game that we just played the night before. Right? Because if you do not, then you don't have that competitive spirit day in and day out, where then you feel like you can take games off because you can take practices off because you just don't have it in practice. Right? So it's our job to bring that every single day so that competing just becomes a habit for them.
And you learn about their mental endurance, their physical endurance during those practices.
Well, yeah, you challenge them to learn about themselves.
Yeah.
Right? You challenge them to think about themselves. Can I push it a little extra? I'm going to have to, because he's driving me like crazy. And if I don't meet that challenge, I'm going to have to hear his mouth all practice long. I'm going to have to hear his mouth on the plane. I'm going to have to hear his mouth on the bus. I'm going to have to hear his mouth in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just compete.
Kobe, I'm assuming that you've had teammates come back later and say, Kobe, you made me a better player.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when we're playing together, they don't like it very much because I'm always challenging them. But then at the end, like even to this day, we're all very close. We're all great friends because they knew what I was trying to do was trying to push them to be the best version of themselves.
And so LaMarcus Aldridge nails them both.
Decent when he entered the league, Aldridge has turned himself into a phenomenal free throw shooter.
Pass to Caldwell Pope, picked by Randall. They set the pick, and the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Caldwell Pope. This break gives us the chance to see which teams have been the most successful in the transition game this month. In third, the Lakers.
I mean, it's about the pace they played with here offensively. They don't look like they're showing any signs of slowing down.
Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. Saul comes in for Anderson, and Tony Parker subbed in for DeJounte Murray. A nice shot by Gasol.
And that one gives them a +5 rebound advantage, Kevin.
Kobe, you got to play against some great defenders in the NBA like Draymond Green of Golden State and others. What are some of the things that, I mentioned Draymond Green, that he does as a player that you think separates him from the rest of the defensive guys in the league?
He does his research. He does his homework.
You can tell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell. When you watch him play, he puts himself in position before the offensive player even attacks. And how does he know that? Because he's watching film. He studies. He knows the player's tendencies. And so when you mix in the research to go along with his frame and the quick hands and the foot speed, then you have a defensive player that's a force.
Hey, Kobe, when you take a look at great NBA rivalries, your mind goes more to the past than the present. I'm not sure why that is, but maybe you can enlighten us why rivalries seem to matter more or were more in our minds from yesteryear as opposed to today.
Because we can recall where we were when. Right?
Yeah,
the recollection is always more powerful in retrospect, right? I mean, that's always, you remember where you were when Magic hit that running hook shot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some people can remember where they were when Nelson hit that shot that bounced off the back of the rim and almost touched the rafters and fell back in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's those memories that create a lasting impact. And even though in today's game, you can look at it and say, there's no real rivalries in today's game. There are. But they're only sink in over time.
So you think the Cleveland-Golden State rivalry, because the greats are on opposite sides there, will linger and will resonate like that?
Absolutely.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. And Kobe, you played for a handful of coaches during your career. When you look back on it, was there one coach you wished you could have played for but didn't have maybe a chance to play for?
Greg Popovich. That's an easy one for me. Although I did play for him in several All-Star games.
Yes, you did.
And one particular All-Star game in practice, he came up to me and said, okay, do you want me to just kind of go through like a whatever practice, or do you want me to do the real thing? I said, Pop, you got to do the real thing, because I've been dying to see what really goes on inside these Spurs practices.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to give us a real practice, man. And he did. And Tim just kind of looked at me and was like, dude, seriously?
What are you doing?
Come on, you're killing me.
So what was a Popovich practice like for you, and how did you try to set the tone?
It was high energy, and we moved from drill to drill, and it involved a lot of passing and moving and spacing. And so all of the shooting, it wasn't any individual shooting. You know, all the individual shooting took place within a five-man offensive structure, a ball movement, a passing and cutting, and all of a sudden your shot comes here in the corner, and then you slide it to the next line, and you dribble, penetrate, and kick it, and then you slide to the next line, dribble, penetrate, kick. Right? So it involves constant movement where you're constantly training and conditioning the body that you're not just going to pass and stand and be a participant. Right? You're going to be involved into in the action, not going to be a passive participant.
And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. Lakers shooting their third free throw shot of the game.
Not a strong suit for this group, just around 71%.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
And he shows the focus there, nails the technical. And over the course of your career, Kobe, 5 NBA championships. Are there any of those that really stand out among the 5 that you accumulated?
The last one, beating the Celtics. That was the hardest one by far to get.
Why so?
Well, we're going into Boston now with the series tied 1-1. And Boston is absolutely excited about having this split and going home now and having 3 games at home, thinking that the series was not going to come back to LA. And so that was an interesting plane flight for us, and then to go out and get the very next game, just to go down 3-2, coming back to LA, and then to finally pull out that series after being down 15 in the fourth quarter against the Celtics. Not getting better than that.
Here's Ennis after Pau Gasol's bucket. Down low. Zubac kicks to Randall. The shot is good, and so is his shooting tonight, 3 for 4. Kobe, for a guy like yourself who made an incredible amount of three-point shots during your career, what is it like watching Steph Curry? Just how much has he changed the league? It was always watching the dunks of Jordan. Now you got kids that want to shoot the ball from distance.
Yeah. Shooting the ball from distance now has kind of become like a home run in baseball, right? Where it's exciting to watch the ball in flight. I think it's great because it just adds more love to the game, more things that players could do or kids can do that can't dunk. Right? It's like dunking was the thing, right? But now, for kids that can't dunk, there's something else that's fun. And something else that's entertaining, like shooting threes. Right? So
boy, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's a lot of repetition.
Hundreds of shots daily.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition. I mean, Steph, you watch him out there playing and making all these shots. He's put in hours and hours and hours of hard work and continues to do so.
And when you build a big lead like this, especially early, you have to guard against the letdown.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. Do they start to coast, or do they go right for the juggler?
So it's the Lakers now, following the bucket by the Spurs. Hart, no good.
A team's rebounding is a great measure of its energy, and theirs has been terrific here in the first quarter.
And he makes that one. 16 points for Pau Gasol.
Boy, he has been special to start this game, shooting 8 of 9, just making it look easy.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
Well, Luke Walton gave me a few minutes to catch up with him. He said this may be one of those games that really needs big offense to win. He said we have guys who can pass and guys who can finish. In a game like tonight, we have to put up big numbers. We'll see if they can score enough to make that difference. Kevin, back to you.
All right, David, thanks. Well, we often hear a coach talk about defense first, but today they're concentrating on their offense.
And I like the idea that he wants them to get some early momentum. Just never hurts a team to get off to a quick start.
Take a break.
And they've got the kind of offense where if they are able to land those early punches, they can get an opponent on the ropes and never let him off.
No good on the free throw. San Antonio making a switch here. Forbes checked in. And he's good on the second. It's Ginobili on the wing. Shot from 16, and he didn't get quite enough under that one.
And this is a guy that can get you stops, aggressive on the defensive end.
Also doing a good job of tracking the ball, contesting the mid-range jumper as well.
The defense fortunate there. He's a guy you hate to leave wide open.
And out of bounds as the Lakers gain possession. The Lakers shooting a lowly 30% to start this game out. And here's Ennis. He's coming off a 10-point game against Utah.
And when you factor in the assist totals, that's a complete game. I'll tell you, he is scorching the Nets this quarter. Maybe that'll help wake up some of his teammates.
It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. San Antonio again missing. Out to the wing. Hart the pass to Ennis. Here's Kuzma, defended by Gasol. 6 to shoot. Here's Randall. And it's Gay with the rebound. It'll count. And so it's San Antonio in very good shape with a 23-point lead at the end of the quarter. The scoring has been tremendous, and they are shooting lights out with very high accuracy. We've got more NBA basketball coming your way in just a minute. The San Antonio Spurs have really popularized that unselfish offensive style of play. Manu Ginobili talked about their Spurs approach.
Attack and find the open teammate, not try to solve problems by ourselves. It's something that we've never done, and every time we did it, it's not us.
There's a lot to be said for knowing, Greg, who you are and what your game plan is, and there may be no other team that gets that better than the San Antonio Spurs.
And Kevin, it helps to have that core of Manu and Tony there as the foundation and coaches on the floor for each new wave of players that have come through this Spurs organization.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And a comfortable margin for the Spurs here, guys.
So far, they've been active, scoring the basketball, built up a little lead here, and looking good.
The play calling has been perfect, backed up by beautiful execution. They've certainly captured the moment in that first quarter.
We've got Randall. Ennis out there with Hart. Then it's Ivica Zubac. And it's Kuzma in at the 3 slot. That's the group for the Lakers to start the second quarter. Some say, Kobe, that the shooting guard crop in the NBA right now, a little light in terms of depth, not quite as many top 2 guards as we used to see play the game. Who do you like among some of the 2 guards you see now in the NBA?
Well, it depends who we're considering the 2 guard.
Right, because they just blend,
twos,
don't they?
The threes, they all just blend.
Combo guards are playing some forward position. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. So, shooting guards to me are guards that have to do everything. You have to be able to play the post. You have to be able to play the perimeter. You have to be able to play the point. You have to do everything. So I'll put Russell Westbrook in that category. I'll put James Harden in that category. I'll put Kawhi Leonard in that category. There's a lot of players I'm forgetting. Even Giannis, I would say, is 2 guard because of what he does.
Yes.
So there's a lot of talented guards out there.
Did you like the ball in your hand, bringing it up, or would you have rather someone else bring it up, then get it to you in the half court, and then do what you did?
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm jealous about Michael. Because Michael didn't have to do that. Yeah,
right.
Pippen.
Yes, right. Who always brought it up.
Yeah, so he could focus on coming off of screens and catching and shooting. He didn't have to think about facilitating first. He could think about scoring and then passing out of double teams.
And Gasol gets it to go.
Yeah, and they've shown effort and aggression in the paint, really right from the tip. Their rebounding edge right now, massive.
Pass to Hart. Here's Kuzma. He dishes it to Ennis. Tries again. And it's good on the layup.
And defensively, they're on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
Gay misses. And Kobe, you talked about coming off screen. Some guys come off a screen and kind of just lollygag. You came off and you pass the ball and then get back at it
again.
Yeah.
Efficient.
Explode off those screens.
Angles, right? Yes. You got to be able to read those things. And when you're catching, you're in attack mode all the time. But then it's demoralizing to the defense.
I'm sure it is.
You're always on.
Yeah.
You're always looking. You're always checking. You're always in fear that he's going to attack. So, yeah, we always try to keep our foot in the gas.
Always.
Our foot in the throat.
Yeah. Brandon Ingram, he's checked in for Randall. Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs. Los Angeles calls timeout. Pau Gasol with a strong contribution so far in this one.
The man has been relentless scoring inside, attacking the rim every chance he gets. Their defense has been powerless to stop him. We'll see what adjustments they make coming out of this timeout.
Caldwell-Pope, he's checked in for the Lakers. Ball comes in for Ennis, then for the Spurs. Aldridge comes in for Pau Gasol. And it's DeJounte Murray in for Parker. Now, here's Ball. Looking for his first basket still in this one. Ingram. Rebound, San Antonio. Anderson's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. And Kobe, your spectacular high school career at Lower Merion High School in Philadelphia, in that Philadelphia area, paved the way for your NBA career. Talk about some of the highlights of your days in high school.
Well, my days in high school they were fun. I mean, I played at a small high school called Lower Merion High School, so not too many people heard of it. You know, when you come to Philadelphia, the schools that you hear of are Overbrook, where Wilt Chamberlain went to school, Bartram, right, where Earl the Pearl Monroe went to school, right? But you never heard of little old Lower Merion High School, right? So it was a huge honor to be able to bring a state championship to Lower Merion and kind of put Lower Merion on the map, and that's the most exciting part about it.
Oh, a terrific story indeed. A huge honor, I'm sure. Brook Lopez is checked in for the Lakers. And in the second quarter, a little under 3.5 minutes played already. Here's Anderson. He clangs that one off the back iron, and down it falls. Anderson's got 8. And Kobe, you've had so many fans from high school that carried over to your NBA days. In the stands now, in fact, you'll see fans with Lower Merion High School jerseys on.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
How cool is that? You know, to actually be able to see a bunch of Aces jerseys in the crowd when literally nobody knew where Lower Merion was. There's actually a school called Upper Merion. So everybody used to confuse the two. You say, hey, yeah, I saw you when you played at Upper Merion. I say, hold on, dude. No. Lower Merion, man. Get it right. Don't forget it. Lower Merion.
Rebound by Murray.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
And a quick look at how things have been since the All-Star break, checking out the three-point shot ratio for the Lakers.
And clearly they haven't been shy about launching it from long range. That's the way the league has been going, and they are certainly embracing that trend.
The free throw drops for Aldridge. Well, it seems like with more threes and more skill-based play, the league is more of a European style of play. You grew up in Italy, Kobe. You know about that style. You appreciated that style. How did that impact your personal development as a player?
Well, tremendously. I mean, if you look at the era in which I grew up in Italy, you look at the players that came out of there, whether it's myself, Pau Gasol, Manu Ginobili. I mean, there's a lot of players that grew up in that same time frame that play the game fundamentally sound because I think all of the coaching, all the coaches here in America, we're doing camps and clinics for coaches overseas.
Like QB Brown, right?
Exactly.
He would always go overseas in the summer. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we were products of that teaching. So all of our coaches growing up were implementing the fundamentals and the basics of the game taught by these amazing American coaches. And so we're kind of fortunate in terms of the time that we grew up.
The Spurs have gotten exactly half their shots to go down here in the second, 5 of 10. Here's Gay on the jam by Rudy Gay.
I like how he absorbed contact. Rudy Gay with the body control to finish through it.
And And Los Angeles guys shooting just 33%, struggling to get good looks. And Kobe, while those coaches were imparting the fundamentals abroad, did that get lost in translation, you think, here in the States?
Well, I think they just took it for granted. I think players took it for granted. And you start seeing the teaching start slipping. It's like, you have a parent that's constantly telling you to clean your room. After a while, you start tuning out the parent.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that is what happened here in America, which is why you see some of our fundamental skills erode over time.
Are you saying that your girls, your 14, your 11, they tune you out?
Oh, my God, yes. I could say something 1,000,000 times, but if Beyonce says it one time,
it's law.
That's it. Like, dude, I've been saying the same thing for years. No one listens to me.
From the baseline, goes back up. A rebound by Brook Lopez. Lopez has got 4 rebounds now tonight. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Caldwell Pope kicks to Lopez. Gay with the block.
A pretty good defender. Gay using that 7'3" wingspan well. Get that shot out of here.
You know, Kobe, the league seems to be moving away from isolation basketball, sometimes called hero ball, in favor of more ball movement, more of a fluid offense. What do you make of that trend?
Well, I think it's the right thing. I mean, if you look at the way the Knicks played, for example, when they had Bill Bradley, Busher, Phil was coming off the bench.
Well, you are a historian. You love the history of the game, don't you?
Oh, my God.
I mean, I can just tell working with you.
Yeah. Holtzman was coaching. You had Frazier out there. I mean, they moved the ball. I mean, everything was predicated on ball movement, as was the Celtics with Brett Auerbach. And then in the 80s, things changed a little bit. You start going to more isolation ball, where guys would post deep and force the double coverage to come all the way down to them, and then you start moving the ball around. Now you start seeing a spread offense, where the ball's moving again like it was when the Knicks were playing, when the Celtics were playing. And so, I think it just depends on the style of defense that you're seeing and the personnel that you have. I think that determines your style of play.
And so LaMarcus Aldridge nails them both.
No wasted trips at all. They're taking care of business at the line.
And Kobe, how did you learn to watch tape? Because there are guys now watching tape and they'll just go, and you wonder if it's really even sinking in.
Trial and error.
Yeah, right. But really, that was it.
Trial and error. You start looking at things, you start saying, man, like if I'm watching an edit on a player, and I watch one particular game, and then I look at the next game, he's doing the same thing. And the next night, he's doing the same thing. Hold on, let me go back and watch. And then you start looking for consistent behaviors or patterns in their behavior. And then you think, okay, maybe that's something that's a tendency for him. Let me go back and check. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles. Oh, my God. Yeah,
there it is. There's the pattern.
All right, so what if I interrupt him between his first and second dribble and throw him off a rhythm? What'll happen then? Right? What if I know he's going to go 1-2, turn right shoulder? I let him go 1-2. Now I jump to his right shoulder. Now you can't turn there. What happens then? Right? You throw him off of their patterns.
On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, the Spurs have never been the flashy team in the NBA. Tony Parker said beautiful basketball is playing the right way. Ball movement, pure, beautiful basketball is the way we've played. You have all sorts of fans, and there should be something for everybody. Kevin, he told me a long time ago, if we were in New York, people would love us.
And during Popovich's time in San Antonio, the Spurs have always played together, D.A. Got to respect their team-first approach to the game.
The crafty vet, Aldridge, positioning himself well to score, get fouled, or both.
And Kobe, you look around the league and you see a lot of former players as head coaches, guys that you actually played against. Have you ever thought about coaching down the line?
Nope. No, I have not. Not for me. It's for them, though, but it's not for me.
I would think that it would be tough to try to get the same result out of players you coach and not comparing it to the way you played, the way you prepared, the way you were coached.
That's what I hear. I just don't have the desire to even think about it that far. I mean, it's not something that I'm into. But that's the challenges I hear. When Bird was coaching, when Magic was coaching, I always hear that as being the challenge. But ultimately, you have to find different ways to motivate players. And, nobody's the same, right? So you just have to figure out how to get them to their highest level. But still in all, coaching is just not for me.
He hits the second from the line.
And you have to like the way he's attacking the defense, drawing fouls and getting himself chances at the line this quarter.
Now, here's Ball. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. Talk, Kobe, about some of the great one-on-one scores. You might be the best ever, actually. But when you take a look at the crop now, who are some good guys in that one-on-one category that you like?
Kyrie's sensational.
Yeah, great handle. How about his handle? Like one of the best ever made.
Yeah, but he can post too, though. I mean, that's the thing is he can post up. He can turn left shoulder. He can turn right shoulder. He can shoot a left-hand jump hook coming across the middle. He can pull up going left. He can pull up going right. He can attack off the handle. He can attack off a triple threat. You know, he's built the game without any weaknesses. I think most players, should be thankful that he's not 6'6".
Yeah, right. Because he'd be Kobe Bryant then, right? He'd be Kobe Bryant. But I always thought that, and his dad played big-time college basketball, played in Australia. Your dad played. I mean, there is something inherent, regardless of how much, that comes from the son of a pro player.
Growing up overseas as well.
Exactly, in Australia.
Growing up overseas as well. And look at his game being so fundamentally sound and having the basic structure. There's a lot to be said for that.
Absolutely.
And, folks, he did not luck into that one. He knew just where he wanted to be to grab that backboard.
Passes it to Kuzma, and he makes good on the layup. And the trend around the league, Kobe, is more offense, more three-pointers, certainly spacing, fluid offense. Scoring is up around the league in a measurable way from, it seems like, year to year. Do you like the way this is trending, or do you think the NBA should maybe put a governor on this, harness it in just a little bit?
Well, I think it'll swing back to the way,
Do you?
Yeah, because the game has gone through that progression before, and, it's constantly evolving. And so I think you'll see it swing back eventually. You'll have a couple teams that are just big and may have a dominant post player, and all of a sudden you're going inside, and then that team will win a championship, and then the rest of the teams in the league will try to copycat the way the game is played that way. Then things will swing back. So it's just natural evolution of the game, I think.
Kobe, you played in a big market like Los Angeles, one of the biggest in the world, but many are saying that market size matters less and less into the future of the NBA. Do you agree with that?
Well, in a certain aspect, yes, because of the digital age that we live in. I mean, the world is considerably smaller. You have access to market at the touch of a button.
So we see Milwaukee Bucks highlights with Antetokounmpo as much as we would see a Kobe Bryant highlight with Los Angeles.
Absolutely. But still, fundamentally, to play in a market like Los Angeles, Los Angeles being the entertainment capital of the world, New York being a great market as well, it's hard to top those no matter how digitally enhanced our society becomes.
And they've repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid off.
Caldwell Pope outside. Los Angeles with another miss. Smooth sailing for San Antonio. Hit his leg. And they're saying he kicked the ball. Julius Randle's checked in for the Lakers. Tyler Ennis comes in for Ball. Tony Parker's checked in for the Spurs. .139 left to play here in the second quarter. Anderson dishes to Green. Shoots over Ingram. They grab their own miss. Here's Anderson. Makes that one his 6th of the night. Shooting a very healthy 6 for 9.
And every offensive board is an extra possession. If you're trying to compete from this far down, you cannot allow that.
I wonder, where's the passion? You can't afford a no-show here on the defensive glass.
Here's Parker. And that one's good. His second basket of 4, shooting 50%.
Defense, for me, just hasn't made the commitment to sprint back in transition, and that's why you see such a huge differential in fast break points.
Hey, Kobe, thanks so much for stopping by and having some fun with us tonight on the broadcast. Hope we can do it again real soon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
Kobe Bryant. And Smitty, you've had to guard Kobe on the floor during your playing days. Was it fun to get an inside look at how he views the game and what he sees from a broadcast angle?
Absolutely. You talk about one of the all-time greats. He was the ultimate student of the game, and just hearing what he feels about the state of the game and the players he's watching today. What a treat.
Here's Ennis following the bucket by the Spurs. Lopez sets a screen for Ingram. Shot to stop the run. Shot by Ennis. Nobody around. Los Angeles with another miss. Just 2 seconds between shot clock and game time. And the basket is good. Got it to go through on the contact, so a free throw coming up.
One shot.
A great opportunity for a three-point play. The Spurs have gone 9 of 10 from the line, so making the most of their chances. And Los Angeles with some changes. Ivica Zubac has checked in for Brook Lopez. And Hart subbed in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Pau Gasol's checked in for the Spurs. Ginobili comes in for Patty Mills.
One shot. One shot.
.20 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket.
Ingram passes to Ennis. Over to the left wing. Hart, no good.
Yeah, momentum right now is against them. They're just going to have to figure out a way to ride this one out.
You know, easier said than done. What they need to do is string together some positive plays, try to turn the tide.
So as we conclude the first half, so far fairly one-sided. Spurs out in front, running away with this one. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks very much. Pop, how did you keep their offense down in the second quarter?
I thought missed a couple of shots. They missed some easy shots. So they helped us a great deal. So we were pretty fortunate that quarter.
Pop, thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David, for that interview. And we'll see you back here after the break for third quarter basketball.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here. Got Shaq, got Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you back to the halftime show on 2K Sports. We saw LaMarcus Aldridge lighting it up in the first half. He ended up with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal. First 2 quarters from him were fun to watch. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
Well, LaMarcus Aldridge was unconscious. Crafty ball handler for his size. That helps him get the shots he wants. In the post, from mid-range, out from beyond the arc. When he's got a groove, not many people can knock him off the rhythm.
Shaq, your take on the Lakers.
Well, there's no wonder they're getting blown out. No energy, no fight in the rebound battle. Ernie, you got to pick it up. You got to pick it up starting now, or it's going to be impossible to come back. Like the Pythagorean theorem, times 50, times 100, times 50, times 10. Impossible to figure out, Ernie.
And that will conclude our halftime presentation. We take you back to Kevin Harlan for the second half.
And as we welcome you back, we begin our second half. So far, not a tightly contested game, guys, but, you know, anything can happen. We're seeing a tremendous game from LaMarcus Aldridge.
And he's been a monster in this game, throwing down some huge dunks. And I wasn't sure the rim would even survive in that first half.
And I can't wait to see what he has in store during this second half. Some of those jams were downright absurd.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. And the Lakers, Greg, for a long time could rely on the lure of Los Angeles to draw top free agents. History does a lot, it seems.
Yeah, Paul George listing them on his short list shows they still have that pull, but the Lakers will be big players in free agency, I believe, in the near future.
Here's who Greg Popovich is starting in the second half. We've got LaMarcus Aldridge. Green is out there with Anderson. Then there's Murray, and it's Mills in at the 2. Ball with it, out guarded by Murray. And another fast break chance here for the Spurs. Here we go. And Aldridge slams it in.
In the zone, boy, Aldridge making it look easy.
So it's the Lakers now. Doubled by Murray. The wide open look here for Lopez, but they'll get another chance. Trying his luck deep. The offensive rebound.
That was their 4th attempt this half. They finally got one to go down.
Last outing for San Antonio, it was a loss to the Clippers.
I mean, a tough one. Faced some serious intensity in terms of that comeback, and they just got overwhelmed in that fourth quarter. Unfortunately, just couldn't stay in the game long enough to force overtime.
And stolen by Aldridge. Randall grabs the board. The Lakers have gotten just one of their first 4 shots to fall since coming out of the locker room at the break. Here's Ingram. It's good, only a few seconds into the shot clock. Ingram's got his 3rd basket of the night right there.
And Ingram is so graceful with the catch-and-shoot jumper. His lightning-quick release allows him to get off his shot in no time. And he has just been in a flow offensively. Terrific game. He has been the X factor.
And the dunk by Lopez.
You look at that lead pass there. He just has such a great feel for the game.
Murray kicks to Aldridge. Over Lopez. And it's Aldridge missing.
Unfortunately for him, the defense is slow to react, but he couldn't make them pay.
And Lopez has it in the corner. Here's Ingram. Fouled in the act of shooting. A 3-point play chance coming up. And Brandon Ingram, the 2nd overall pick in 2016 out of Duke. What do you make of his rookie season?
You know, very much a work in progress. You have to remember how young he is. Didn't turn 19 until 3 months before the draft, and he's still rail thin. So he's got a chance to improve very quickly over the next few seasons as his body continues to mature.
And guys, you think of some of the more slippery scorers that are left-handed, like James Harden, Isaiah Thomas, Manu Ginobili. They come to mind right off the bat. Does that give them, Steve, I'll begin with you, does that give them an advantage?
It does, Kevin, and people always would ask me why. Because I don't know why. They're left-handed. They do things different. They do things wrong. They jump off the wrong foot. They drive it differently. And I think mentally as a right-handed guy, you're kind of guarding him how you would play. But left-handers definitely has an advantage playing the game of basketball.
Lakers have gone 4 of 9 from the floor so far in the 3rd. Knocked loose. It's going to be out of bounds. Los Angeles will retain possession. And a moment here to look at where the shots have been coming from for the Spurs.
Well, they say the mid-range game is a dying art form, but after looking at this shot chart, they are injecting a ton of life into it. Whatever space is being offered up to them in the mid-range, they have accepted and have continually knocked down shots to make the defense pay.
A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the 3rd quarter. Now the pass to Ball. Just 5 on the clock. Picked by Randall. From deep. Ball with the bucket.
You've got to stay with Ball off that pin down. He's very smart at knowing how to position himself in these situations.
And the nice replay of the long-range three-pointer courtesy of Under Armour. The Unleash Chaos moment.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
That's tipped. Stolen by Ball.
And that's going to go back the other direction, but they played a pretty clean game. Not many giveaways, and the score reflects that.
Drills it from outside.
Yeah, there's 6 points on consecutive 3 balls. They're finding holes now in the D.
Again, the miss by the Spurs. Here's Los Angeles now. They're on a 15-6 run. Ingram kicks to Randall. It's a nice passing here by Los Angeles. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. And Greg Popovich, also the head coach of the U.S. national men's basketball team, a former military man himself, and of course, guys, very passionate about his country.
You're totally right, Kevin. He's been outspoken, but his actions speak even louder. Doing a lot of charity work in San Antonio for disadvantaged youth. He cares, his players know it, and it's a part of what makes him a great man.
2.
The first one falls.
And guys, really no ceiling on Ingram. This is a guy who has the potential to be a truly great player before it's all done.
He hits one, then misses the second attempt from the free throw line.
The Spurs, a top 7 offensive team for the last 7 seasons. Their passing and perimeter shooting is what really sets them apart.
And the Spurs among the league's best in three-point shooting, but they really don't rely on that as some teams do.
You know, the Spurs can change it up. No, they embrace the mid-range a little bit more than the three-point shot right now. Kind of going against the grain in that way. They take shots other teams avoid, and they make it work for them.
2 shots.
And he knocks down the first one. And the Lakers, Greg, have acquired some intriguing young talent. Do you see this group blossoming into elite status?
I mean, there's still some question marks. Injuries have been an issue. I do see some all-star potential for some of their young fellas. Superstar potential, though, tougher to say. They've got something to build on, though, and that's key.
Both free throws good from Forbes. Well, you always hear about a player working extra hard in the offseason when they're approaching free agency, or how much truth is there to the idea, Steve, of a player doing more in a contract year, trying harder?
Well, you hear it. I mean, you hear teammates, you hear guys, competitors, you hear us analysts saying, you know when there's a contract year for a lot of guys, and you look at a guy putting in a little bit more effort. I think the guy that you respect the most is when they play the same way all the time, whether it's a contract year or the first year. But a lot of guys do ramp it up and make more shots when it's a contract year.
But that's human nature, don't you think? I mean, if you know there's a prize at the end, the harder you work. If there's a big test at the end of the week, you study harder. I mean, I would just think that's just human nature.
It is, and I think for instance, the teams and general managers, you have to do your homework to understand the type of player that you're paying for a long time.
And here is Los Angeles now, following the bucket by the Spurs. Randall hits some rim on the way in, and the bucket's good. Randall's got 14 points.
I'm not entirely sure what the defensive strategy was there, but it worked poorly. He loves taking that shot. Is it any surprise that he's been hitting everything out there? You want the ball in his hands as much as possible.
For Los Angeles, they've gone 7 of 13 in the third quarter so far, just above 50%. Lopez outside. Here's Ingram. Tries it again. Dishes the ball for the 3. Here's Randall. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
And let's check out some stats for Murray. He's definitely been getting it done since the All-Star break. Putting up about 10 points a night, 6 rebounds, and just over 2 steals. And guys, he's making winning plays. It's as simple as that. Not a star player per se, but he makes his presence felt.
And the numbers, they back it up. Whether he can sustain this level of production, we don't know. But the arrow's pointing upward right now.
That free throw good from Randall. There are a lot of punishing players in the league, Steve, you know that, who will just hound that offensive glass. Who are your top picks for the best offensive rebounders right now in the league?
I think Andre Drummond, Dwight Howard, Kenneth Faried, some of those guys that just attack the glass. DeAndre Jordan, some of those guys are just relentless. Zach Randolph doesn't do it with a lot of athleticism, but he gets great position. Those guys have a knack of getting offensive rebounds.
And they can just read it well, right? A lot of guys just read these rebounds the right way. They know where that bounce is going to go, the angle of the shot and everything else.
It's such an art to be able, like you said, to read the angle and get into position and understanding how guys miss shots. And that's an art because guys have to put in a lot of film work to do that. I'll tell you, he just hasn't been able to get it done on the offensive end. It's kind of
that jam.
Wow, nice.
I mean, just beautiful.
I totally agree.
And the point differential tells the story. Their two-way play has been outstanding.
You know, it's a matter of effort plus talent. You need both to dominate this way.
Now here's Randall. 16 points for him. Ball with the bucket.
Now this is more like it. 9 points for him from three-point range this half. That's 9 more than he had in the first.
You like the aggressiveness, pushing all the right buttons. He has this team rolling.
The Lakers shooting 33% for the night. That's a big thorn in their side right now. Doubled by Murray. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession. And this gives us a chance to highlight the rookies with the most assists here in the second half of the season. Lonzo Ball is second.
He's making progress in his first season in the league, and his command of their offense and opposing defenses improves every time he takes the floor.
And the Lakers making a change here. Hart's checked in. Ginobili can't hit.
Oh, you've got to be able to deliver when you get a bunny like that. That's just too easy of a shot to miss.
Kuzma, that's good. The Spurs shooting it quite well in this third quarter, 53%, and the offense is rolling. And that one's good by Gay.
And despite some recent injuries, Rudy Gay showing a great burst on that drive.
Ball kicks to Lopez. Here's Randall. Lays it up off the glass. Randall's got 18 points.
Making a dent in this deficit. He's been on point tonight.
There's Parker with the three. That one, no good. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Ball with a wide open look. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. Only 5 games left on the season. Let's quickly take a look at how the playoff field is stacking up out west. You look at the Spurs. They've had a great season and will look to extend that into the playoffs. And, of course, the Lakers. Quite a few spots down the ladder right now.
And when I look at San Antonio, most of the preseason predictions were right on the money when it came to them. I mean, a playoff contender, but not necessarily championship caliber.
I agree. As good as they've been, they do seem like they're missing that true killer instinct that sets the great teams apart from the good ones.
Another triple, and that's been the story of this second half.
Coming out of the break, they've relied on their perimeter offense to generate points. Right now, it's working.
Here's Ball after Pau Gasol's bucket. Offensive rebound.
And the rebounding has been key to their success here tonight.
I say it's the #1 reason why they are ahead in this game right now.
Park down low that time, and he got the 3-second call.
And here we can check out the story on Julius Randle. He's been on a tremendous roll since the All-Star break. 14th in field goal percentage, 15th in rebounding, and he's right up there in the top 20 in scoring. Certainly a force to be reckoned with offensively.
And as you mentioned, one of the more efficient scorers in pro basketball. He challenges defenders with his bravado, and more often than not, he prevails. Zubac is checked in for the Lakers. Tyler Ennis comes in for Ball.
You have to credit the pinpoint pass for making that play possible.
A 3-ball. Rebounded by the Lakers. Randall's got 9 rebounds in the game, getting it done. Ennis kicks to Randall. And it's Gay with the rebound. Gay's got 8 rebounds in this game. And Ginobili, here we go. And he converts the layup. Ginobili's got his second basket of the game.
That makes it 10 of their last 12 coming from inside the paint.
Randall is screen on Ginobili. Ennis kicks to Randall over Parker. Not enough on that one as it misses. San Antonio's gotten blank from three-point land so far in the third. Still 0 for 3.
And when you watch Rudy Gay out there on the court, you see just why he's always been a solid scorer in our league. I mean, any situation, any type of offense, he can find a way to get points, and really one of the more underrated players we have in our league.
Now here's Parker. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 8 points a game.
And you see the poise there. Parker calmly scans the D, stops and pops.
Ennis with the ball, covered by Parker. Parker with the steal. Oh, and here comes Gay, all alone. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. And with Rudy Gay, scoring Greg has never been a problem for him, has pretty much had the same level of production his entire career.
Yeah, and if you say that about some players, it's considered an insult, but it's a good thing for Gay. Usually we'll shoot in the mid-40s for this field goal percentage and solid at that small forward position. Also a great ISO game.
For Los Angeles, they have made their free throws at a pretty good clip. They've hit 8 of 10.
2.
And he can't get the first one. Well, the NBA can be a superstitious place at times, Steve, with all the quirks and characters in the league. And when you played, what was the strangest game day ritual that you ever saw?
I think Harold Miner. He touched everything with his nose, his gym shoes, his wristbands, the basketballs at the free throw line, and everybody did. And I think for me, as I got older, it wasn't strange. It was out of necessity. I had to get in some kind of steam room and have all those hot pads wrapped around me just to get loose to play.
I like that story. I don't like Baby Jordan's story, though. Harold Miner, that doesn't work for me. I don't understand that.
Getting there up in age, we know Tony Parker was the Spurs' top scorer for half a decade from 2011 on. Their offense was built around his slashing ability.
Green, he's checked in for the Spurs.
One shot, gentlemen.
Free throw drops in for Tony Parker. And guard Tony Parker, now 35 years of age, bound one day for the Hall of Fame. Last season, the lowest minutes average of his career, around 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, his game has always been based on quickness. He's lost a step and it's been challenging, but he studied John Stockton, Jason Kidd, and Nash to see how they remained effective.
Hits, count that one from Ennis.
In that first half, guys, they didn't shoot nearly as many threes as they have here in the second, trying to use that shot to stay in the game. Is it me, or does it just feel like he gets every rebound that comes up?
No, it's felt like that all game. He is just aggressive and finds ways to snag rebounds out of thin air sometimes.
He took good advantage of that screen. Randall's got 11 here in this quarter alone.
He has flat out dominated this quarter, hitting shots at will, yet they still find themselves behind.
Okay, that's good.
And defensively, guys, they've been unable to shut down the middle.
And Los Angeles guys shooting in the second half so far, about 45%. There's the pick. Zubac, the pass to Randall. The shot, no good. Nice D from Ginobili. Gay. That falls, nice feed that time for Manu Ginobili. Gay's got 10 points in the game.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Tries again. Here's Zubac. And 3 chances on that possession, but they just couldn't find a way to score.
And he's really trying to get them back into it, but the results just have not been there. Yeah, that was the third straight high percentage look the defense has allowed. The defenders have got to start putting bodies on bodies.
Now here's Ennis. 6 points for him. Randall kicks to Zubac. Gasol with the steal. About 7 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Baseline J on the way. Oh, that's offensive interference. Los Angeles making a switch here. Ingram's checked in. San Antonio also making some changes. LaMarcus Aldridge is checked in for Gay. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. There's 25 seconds left here in the third quarter. Here's Ennis. They get a hand on it. Down low. Fade away. The shot will not fall. Green. No good on the shot. LaMarcus Aldridge has been on display for San Antonio. He's approaching 40 points for him in the game. He's scoring in just about every way possible. We've got more in store for you right after this. And now a sneak peek into the huddle with Greg Popovich.
The way we keep a lead is to keep making stops, gang rebound, and keep the pace on offense.
No surprise moments ago in that little talk that Greg Popovich gave his team in pushing his troops, sensing an open opportunity to break this thing wide open.
and he's a guy who will never settle. And for good reason. He knows that any dip in momentum can shift the course of a game.
And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. Channing Frye out there with Ivica Zubac. Then there's Payton. Then it's Ennis. And it's Ware in at the 3 spot. That's the Laker 5. Here are the Lakers. And after this one, they're home against Minnesota. That'll be the second of 4 games at home for them. It's deflected. There's Ennis, passes to Laverne, feeds to Green. In it goes for the 5th time, and 10 shots for him this game.
And they are attacking the rim and getting great results.
Green's gotten half of his 10 shots to fall. 5 makes from the field so far. To the middle. Here's Ware. It's good. The assist that time from Ennis.
I like to see that. Taking it up strong in traffic.
Shots good by Mills.
Man, have they been effective at getting the ball inside.
And the Lakers have possession. There's a screen. Knocked away. And it's out of bounds. The Lakers able to retain possession here. We're just over a minute into this final quarter of play. Ennis kicks to Frye. The feed now to Ennis. 6 to shoot. Offline with his 3. For San Antonio, they've gotten all 3 of their shots to drop here in the fourth quarter. They came out of the break on a roll.
Just impressed with the teamwork out there, setting the table for one another.
Just over a minute and a half played here in the fourth. Too long in the paint, and he's hit with a 3-second violation. And with the business of basketball booming, most players are afforded a pretty lavish lifestyle. There's no doubt, and not only the NBA, but in all sports, certainly a blessing. But Smitty, are there downsides to all that notoriety, all that money, all that lavishness?
Yeah, it is, Kevin. I think the downside is, one, you can't live that lifestyle if it's lavish for the rest of your life. And I think second, it takes away. You are a public figure right now. You have to understand that. And that's the downside. Being able to go out with your family, being able to go out to a restaurant, you got to understand, yes, there's going to be fans everywhere, and it takes away from that. So I think that's the 2 things for me is guys got to understand that lifestyle doesn't last. And I think also, personally, it takes away from what you can do out in public.
Kicks it to Ware. And Paul over to help. Pass to Zubac. No one near Payton as he lets it go. Hits it from 3-point range. The Spurs have gone a perfect 4 of 4 to start the final quarter. Can't ask for anything more than that. Shots good by Laverne.
Perfect vision. Mills getting quicker these days at spotting the open man.
Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Laverne with the steal. A solo fast break. Oh, and the jam by Laverne.
Oh, he is a highlight reel unto himself, guys.
That could be a contender for the dunk of the year, I think. For Los Angeles, they've gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. They set the screen. Here's Zubac. Lead pass was put in just the right spot.
And those are 2 teammates right there working in rhythm. One setting the screen and the other using it to get that separation. Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Now here's Ennis, covered by Mills. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. You know, Smitty, as the game grows internationally, we've seen a contrast drawn between the academies, for instance, in Europe and Australia and the youth basketball organizations in this country. Do you think we're doing it the right way? Should there be change, more policing of just how things are run at a very young level?
I think more policing, Kevin. I think also coaches being better equipped to be able to be around young kids. I think also how many games these kids are playing. I think obviously you want them to have games, but when they're playing 5, 6, 7 games in a weekend, I just think that's too much.
And he makes the first.
When you think about a great system and great execution, you think of the San Antonio Spurs. Not the most athletic team. You won't see a bunch of dunks or fast break points. If you love the game, you have to admire how they get things done.
Anderson, he's checked in for Danny Green. And so he hits both. And we've seen a litany of role players come to San Antonio and shoot guys career highs.
Well, you know, especially shooters. This offense gets them the cleanest look they can ask for. There's no great secret in their strategy. It's all in the execution.
Ennis, off target from three-point range.
He's being aggressive, trying to turn around the team's fortunes, but he's having a hard time executing.
And Anderson gets it to go.
The assist totals, Kevin, just continue to grow. They're way ahead in that category. Ball movement has been flawless.
Now here's Payton. Back to Ennis. There's a good screen. Pass to Zubac. Here's Fry. Hits the jump hook.
The length and athleticism of Fry showing up inside.
For San Antonio, they've gone on a tear here in the fourth. They're 8 of 9 on field goal attempts in the quarter. And Channing Frye gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul. Here's Mills. And count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
One of the smallest men on the floor, Mills using his quickness against good interior defense.
And Smitty, I heard somewhere that both Larry Bird and Kevin Durant did a lot of wrist strengthening exercises when they were growing up. How important is wrist strength to basketball players, and especially shooters like yourself?
You know, when you're taught the game of shooting the basketball, Kevin, they say get your legs into it. But there's sometimes you are in situations where the only thing you can do is use your arms and your wrists. And you see guys right now from a flat-out standstill position deep behind the three-point line, a la Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. They're just shooting it with all arms and wrists. So it's very important to strengthen your wrists and your arms.
And did you do that? Did you do any of that wrist strengthening when you played, and did you adhere to that?
I did not, Kevin. All I did was do some push-ups.
It's deflected. Here we go, one-on-one. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Paul's shot is off. LA's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the fourth quarter. And the dunk by Payton.
And he runs the floor with a purpose that time. Excellent play.
You know what? And a late reaction by the transition D takes it himself uncontested.
Berton's shot is good.
If the defense is going to keep giving him those shots, you know he has the confidence to knock them down.
Ennis with the ball. He feeds it to Fry. There's the dish to Ware. Ennis kicks to Payton. Just 5 to shoot. Over Laverne. Payton's shot is off. San Antonio's gone 2 of 3 in the fourth quarter from long range. Good shooting so far. Low block shot on the way. Second shot opportunity. Shot's good by Laverne.
Defensively, you cause the miss, but then you have to corral it.
You know, there's nothing more frustrating than that. Giving up points on a possession, you won.
Now here's Ennis. He kicks it to Ware. It's good. The assist that time from Ennis. Ennis has got 4 assists now tonight.
Well, check out that assist. That's a pair of teammates that are clearly on the same page.
Anderson. And he can't bank that one in. Now Ennis. They set the pick, and Fry has it in the corner. Ware kicks to Zubac. Payton in the corner. Takes a 3. San Antonio with the rebound. Laverne dishes to Anderson. That's no good. Miss number 5 against 14 makes. The Lakers have gone 6 of 12 from the field here in the fourth and even 50% hits. Count that one from Ennis.
Here we go. His second made from beyond the arc in the second half after having no such luck in the first.
And Anderson gets it to go.
I tell you what, his accuracy has been the story of this game.
And to do it in the fourth quarter, you're trying to extend the lead. He's making that happen.
Here's Ennis following the bucket by the Spurs. Payton outside. Pass to Ennis. Zubac's with it. It's rebounded by Paul.
That was very tight defense. He tried to force the layup anyway. I think that was a questionable decision.
And that's another fast break bucket. And this is the pace, though, guys, that's been working for them.
They are winning the battle in transition. Look for them to keep pushing the tempo.
Now here's Ennis. And they double up Payton. Ennis passes to Zubac. Where, no good. The Spurs shooting in offensive execution has been beyond great. They're 63% from the floor in this game.
See, this is how you dictate the flow of the game. He's been lit this quarter.
The Lakers have gone 7 of 15 from the floor here in the fourth, right around 46-47%. Pass to Zubac from 6 feet, and it's in off the backboard.
Excellent job working the ball around the court and into the paint for the easy-made shot. That's just great ball movement.
Mills can't hit.
And that was an easy one there, just a missed opportunity.
If you give it to him, he'll take that shot every time down the floor. I'm sure he's kicking himself.
Okay, 2 hands for safety. That's what they say, right?
That's right. He was ultra safe with that dunk, no question. And Zubac picks up the foul. That's his first foul. Well, Steve, it's something that everyone has a different opinion on. How do you feel about the current amount of years a player has to play in college before they enter the NBA draft?
Well, Kevin, I look at it this way. I like the notion that people have been throwing around that you're able to come out of high school and go to NBA. But if you choose to go to college, you must play 2 years. So I'm leaning toward and researching and looking at that. I think I'm on board with that because there are some guys should have the opportunity straight out of high school, and there are some guys I think need college. So I think if they can balance that out, and I think that's the way I would be leaning.
I like that perspective.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. 1 shot.
And the Spurs with Pau Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge up front. A huge front court, long front court. Steve, is that something they can stick with when teams like the Warriors go small?
No, I don't think so, Kevin. That's a challenge for them. Aldridge has to cover the 4 in those situations, and Gasol just doesn't have the lateral mobility at this point in his career.
Now, here's Fry. And the shot is good, dropping in off the front of the rim. Here's Laverne, and Laverne throws it down.
The veteran eyes see all. Frenchie with the tremendous look to make that play happen.
Los Angeles has gone 2 of 5 on 3-point shots since the end of the third quarter. They set the screen to the left wing. Down low. And they immediately answer back with the dunk at the other end.
And a long windup and strong follow-through on the one-hand jam.
Yeah, he's not going to mess that one up.
Ooh, he put a little extra on that one.
He does. He doesn't usually finish soft either. Obviously, he can when necessary, but not that time. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
And he throws it right out of bounds. Careless mistake.
And San Antonio shooting so well, 63%, the offense working as one cohesive unit. Bangs home the trifecta.
Not shot from outside. There's no doubt about that. Spreading the floor and getting them up.
And Parker comes with the help. Ennis kicks to Payton. And not sure what he was thinking there. San Antonio's gone 3 of 4 from downtown here in the fourth. It's Anderson with the drive, and that one is good. Anderson's got 6 here in this quarter.
And he's really made the most of his opportunities today. I mean, he needs to keep working for those kinds of looks.
And Anderson slams it in.
And that's the classic 1-2 punch right there. I mean, nice steal. And then how about the elevation, Kevin, on the finish?
And, Greg, nothing spurs some quick offense like a great play defensively.
When your defense translates into offense, it's a beautiful thing.
And that one drops.
Well, not the best look they can get, but at the end of the day, it's all about shot making.
And it's good on the assist by Parker. Anderson's got 14 points here in the second half.
Couldn't run the inbound play any better than right there.
They set the pick. Ennis dishes to Fry. The three-pointer off the mark.
Rare you'll see him miss such an open look. Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Spurs.
This was a team performing to its fullest capability.
A hugely satisfying win. A game that not many will soon forget. And on the other side, one that I think most will try to forget.
And these guys already with 45 wins on the year, so tonight will make it 46.
Well, at least they're going to salvage a game from the season series after losing the first 2.
Back to Payton. And they double up Payton. Clock at 4. They get it again. There's the screen. Back to Ennis. Another shot. Shot clock reset for Los Angeles. Nice ball movement here by the Lakers. Here's Anderson, and finished off by Anderson.
And how much longer are they going to keep that foot on the accelerator?
Well, this is less about winning the game now and more about making a bold statement.
And turnovers have been the issue for him.
You can see the coaches have gotten into him a little bit about this. They've got to do a better job of taking care of the ball.
Zubac kicks to Payton. Back to Zubac. Basket counts.
And really a good job spotting his teammate near the bucket and then just pinpoint passing for the finish.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They lead. There's 21 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
You know, I'm not sure why you call a timeout this late. I mean, the game is more or less over.
I'm not questioning that either, but he clearly hasn't given up on this one quite yet.
A chance to check out some of the tremendous play tonight from our Jordan Player of the Game.
Yeah, and his performance has been a jaw-dropper. He must have been feeling great coming into the building tonight because once he hit the court, it was all working for him. He was in a zone.
And with their spot in the postseason assured, he's picking up just at the right time to be on top of his game. Here's Parker. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in.
Tremendous effort here on the road. That plane ride home is going to be sweet.
They better have some extra goodies on that plane, because after this blowout, they deserve to be rewarded.
Now here's Ennis. He dishes it to Fry. No good on the three. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
And that's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Danny, a strong defensive effort both individually and team. Now, how comfortable are you at that end of the floor now, knowing that you can make things tough on the opposition?
Well, we want to make them take tough shots. We're not comfortable at any point defensively, but we got to continue to be active and be aggressive and get our hands on loose balls.
It's been the mark of the Spurs for a long time, Danny. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. And that'll do it, folks. For Steve Smith, Craig Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in. See you later.